this is Maria Emmerich, and she just gave a 45-minute lecture and a book signing in my office today. And what I've learned from Maria in the last couple of weeks, because I heard some podcasts and I read through some of your books, is I've been teaching high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb. And there's other websites like Diet Doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say, keep your protein down because of gluconeogenesis kicking you out of ketosis, right? But gluconeogenesis is not a pathological state. It helps you get into ketosis.
It does.
Right, so I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
And I'll hand it over to you about increasing the protein up and still being in ketosis.
Right. Well, one of the things that a lot of like women will say is that they need, glucose for hormones or thyroid hormone and some things like that. And so there'll be people talking about adding then carbohydrates, even though they're in ketosis, they'll add some carbs. But the fact is you could do that with just a little bit more protein. And this isn't like 200 grams of protein. I'm talking about 0.8 times your lean mass, which is on average, like for me, would be like 80 grams of protein. So it's not an excessive amount, but it's certainly not fat fasts or fat bombs that we should be living off of, because what happens if you do like a fat fast for a long period of time or a week, you'll come to me and say, or to you and say, I'm losing my hair, or my thyroid is, not doing so good, my energy is low. Like, in order to maintain your muscle mass,
and
your hair, like your hair follicles need amino acids, and those aren't in fat, those are in protein. And all of the nutrient dense foods, they're in beef and organ meat. It's not in butter, it's not in coconut oil. There's some nutrients in there, but not very much. So if you're living off of bulletproof coffee or, all of those types of foods, I would much rather have you chew your calories, be very satiated like a big old steak like you had for lunch.
So when you're talking like this, your audience is women who are trying to lose weight, or not necessarily athletes?
Not necessarily.
Athletes, endurance athletes, you wouldn't say that to endurance?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you would
Absolutely.
say that. Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Running marathons and things like that.
Okay.
But not just women, but like anybody who really wants to lose weight, they try the ketogenic diet. I'll tell you, like 90% of people that come to me, maybe you too, they want to lose some weight. And they think, okay, I was told that this fat fast is the way to go. Or, doing fat bombs is really good to get my ketones up. Higher ketones do not mean higher fat burning. They might be better for epilepsy, seizures, that type of stuff. But for fat loss, you want to tap into your body fat. And just like a car, you don't want to overfuel that car tank with any gasoline, any type of fuel, because the engine will blow up. When you overfuel your body tank with fuels such as alcohol, carbohydrates, protein, or fat, even fat will increase insulin, and it needs to take care of that fuel before it taps into your body. So the extra fat will get you into ketosis, but you're probably not going to lose weight if you eat, 2,000 calories of fat.
So now you could get extra fat in to get into ketosis to prime your body. So 4 weeks, 8 weeks later, drop the fat down. So the protein is up, the carbs are down, and then later the fat is down.
Yeah.
So the protein is there to maintain
muscle
your
mass.
body.
Yeah.
It keeps the structure of your body together.
Right.
And your fuel is the fat, because it's the fat that you're burning off of here.
Right.
Right.
But most people, they deal with intense sugar cravings. Like, I get that. And that's where you can turn that fat dial up if you're having, a lot of sugar cravings or things like that. Then in the afternoon, if you're like thinking about a cookie, like have a fat bomb or something like that to get over that. And then once you're mentally ready, like slowly start to lower that.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me bring up one more thing.
Yeah.
So higher insulin helps hormones convert to be usable. Have you heard this? You know about this?
But that's where gluconeogenesis will help that.
Okay. So it's not eating glucose to get out of ketosis to raise your insulin.
No.
It's eating protein gluconeogenesis.
To help with hormones.
To help with the hormones. So during the week of the period or something, eat more protein. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily eat more carbs.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, like diabetics need more protein because they're using so much more of that.
Yeah. Where did this come from, that the protein, maybe it came from the Mayo Clinic in the 1920s for the epileptic kids.
Maybe.
So
Yep.
Okay.
Because in that case, you would want to, turn that dial down a bit. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we got 3 books. Thank you. All right, let's go over. You have 7 books. an 8th one coming out
Yes.
soon. We're at 3.
Yay!
So let's talk about these. So I'm just going to hand this to you.
Oh, thank you so much. This one is Keto Comfort Foods. If you know Valerie Bertinelli, this is her book. She likes this book. She likes the breakfast Sammies, she calls them, but it's everything holiday. So whether you think of like pumpkin muffins or just like really delicious food, my favorite chapter is the grown-up kids chapter where like I always grew up in like grilled cheese and tomato soup, so I did a play on that, and Bomba burgers, which are like a stuffed hamburger, and I did like a pizza version in there, and pizza waffles. But yeah, that's something that
awesome.
a lot of people like.
Okay, next book, Ketogenic, quick and easy.
Quick and easy
Ketogenic
cooking. And I did a lot of meal plans in here, so if you're struggling with don't know how to do your macros or anything, I did them all for you. This is actually Halle Berry's favorite book. She really likes it, and it's easy, but there is dairy in it, so if you are dairy-free, this wouldn't be your book.
Okay, cool. And then Keto, period.
Keto, period. This is also an audio book, so if you're like me, I like to listen to audiobooks as I work out. But this book explains everything in detail, including oxidative priority and how to use your body fat for fuel. But also, there's some no-cook meal ideas in here. So if you really don't know how to cook or don't want to even learn about cooking, you can actually eat keto without turning your stove or oven on, and you can do it in this book.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Maria.
having me. It was awesome.
Thanks for coming. All right.
Bye. I know it's December 1st, but this is when I became a mom. So this is why it all started. I was 16, and I went to the doctor, and I was told I had PCOS, which is kind of like a diabetes that affects female fertility. That's what we know now, but the doctor said, that's just your body. It's something that you did, you can't change it. And I kind of hate her now because I know it was ignorance, right? But I also had acid reflux so bad, like I had it when I drink water, and my doctor said, yep, I get it when I drink water too. And so I was like, oh, okay. This is what happens, you know? And I also was a very depressed teenager. As fate had it, I went to the vet that same week. And my dog, she was a beautiful little golden retriever, and she was losing patches of her hair. And the first question the vet asked me was, what are you feeding her? Right? Something that my doctor never asked me. And so I went home and I kind of researched like what PCOS is, and finding out that excess carbohydrates and caffeine were causing these weird hormonal imbalances and stuff. And so I just started cutting out the carbohydrates. I changed my dog's diet. I mean, really, dogs are carnivores, right? Like a wolf wouldn't eat beans or rice. So I, basically made her a carnivore. Her hair grew back. She was like this happy little doggy, and I started cutting the carbohydrates out and sugar. Guess what happened?
You felt better.
The food pushers came out of the woodwork! Oh my gosh, like when someone's trying to cut alcohol or cigarettes, everybody's like, oh, okay, it's okay to have a glass of wine around you. They're so respectful. But I basically had to lie. I said I had a gluten allergy and this allergy, and like, oh, okay. Then they understood, right? This started over 20 years ago. I just kind of became, cutting out carbohydrates and bread, and I was always an athlete, but I was always the big athlete, and so my friends would go to Lickety Split. That was our our ice cream shop in our tiny town of Medford, Wisconsin, and they would always get, ice cream and stuff. And I'm almost glad I had to learn to not have that stuff at a young age, because now it's easy, and now my friends are getting to be 40, and they're like, oh no, I need help, and it's a hard habit to break. Food is, it's an addiction, I went to school for nutrition and exercise physiology after that doctor visit. I knew I wanted to go to school for that. I wanted to change lives. But I fell in love at 17, and I basically was going to be the stay-at-home mom, but Craig lost his job, and I was always a planner, and someone said, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him what you have planned. And that couldn't be more true than my life. Like, my life is anything what I planned it was going to be. So when he lost his job, I had a friend say, why don't you write a book to help raise money for your adoption? Because we already started this whole adoption process for these two little boys. And when you lose a job, you don't have insurance anymore, so everything that you put into that goes away. So we lost about $20,000 right there. But we lost our house and our cars, we had nothing. And so I was so sad that, I'm gonna get my baby fix later, I hope. I had a good friend say, why don't you write a book to help raise money for your adoption? And this is what happened.
It's amazing.
I'm almost really grateful for going through such a detrimental time, because we still kind of live that way. We still live a simple life, and we give back when we can, and we feel really blessed. I don't know what I do with you guys. I know that you're really happy to be here, but we understand that we would be nothing without your support. And so we are really grateful for all of you. I just don't even know what to say, but that's why I got started. And I know that I'm known to be this hard extremist with the keto, but it's not that I'm judging anybody, but I'm going to encourage you to stay on keto. So if you need a support system, we try to have a couple different Facebook groups, one's private so nobody has to see stuff, so if you want to join that group, whatever you want. But, if I'm ever don't have a cheat day, it's not because I'm judging you, it's just because I want to encourage you, because someone reached out to me that was a recovering alcoholic, and they said that they were thankful that I didn't allow cheat days, because as a recovering alcoholic, they're like, I can't have vodka on a Friday. If you're a food addict, you can't have a cheat day and expect that your addiction's not going to come back with a vengeance, because it does. I've seen too many close friends of mine. I'm just going to have a couple Girl Scout cookies, and that's it. I just need them this time of year, whatever. And then a year later, they come I can always tell when my friends are on it or not, because they want to hang out with me or they don't. And it's not that I judge them for what they're eating, or if we go out to eat, I don't care if you get French fries, just don't make me get them, right?
Right.
But they feel almost that they don't want to hang out with me, that's fine. But a year later, they'll say, okay, I was off the keto way again, and now I'm back, stuff like that. But that's why I do keep writing books and recipes, because they're endless. And I have little kids that will see something on a commercial and they'll want it. And I'll be like, hey, you want to try to make it? And they're like, sure. So I try to make everything from gummy bears to Twinkies, possible for them. I get a lot of questions on the different books that are here if you're trying to decide on one. If you can't afford a book, I understand. Ask your library to get them and you can rent them from there. But Keto Comfort Foods, I'll just hold this one up there. This is probably the most popular one on Amazon, just because it is a very holiday-centric book. Pumpkin muffins, a lot of truffle recipes, desserts. Everything's in here. For creamy collards, smothered fried cabin chicken. Oh, that was inspired by my parents' cabin. So this is more it's not dairy-free. And some of the recipes may be a little bit harder, but it is delicious and everybody loves the recipe. So that's Comfort Foods. Can I hold your book? This one, of course, is Halle Berry's favorite book. Quick and Easy Ketogenic Cooking. This is the book that Halle Berry does have. And it's quick and easy. I learned to do this when I had a toddler that held my hand. And he would cry if I didn't touch him at all times. And I had baby Kai, he was over a year old, but he was just this tiny little thing, And even if Craig looked like he was going to hold him, take him away from me. So at the time, I felt really overwhelmed and would do anything for a break, maybe in the bathroom for 5 minutes. Their fingers would come underneath the door. I'm not kidding. I have pictures of them Mommy! but now I would do anything to hold them again. They're very independent little boys, but this is that book. This is what I wrote it because I had like one hand to cook. And so if you don't know how to cook, this is really easy. It's not dairy free. If you need to be dairy free, there's an easy dairy free book. And that one has all 5 stars on Amazon. Thank you. If you like soups, there's a lot of soups. Do the French onion meatball soup. It's delicious. People are afraid of going dairy free. I get it. I'm from the dairy state. Like you buy cheese curds at the gas station, you know? But if weight loss is your goal and you're not seeing any weight loss, go dairy free, nut free. And it sounds impossible, but I make sure to make, like, I understand that creamy texture that everybody wants, and it's not very difficult. That book it's really good for that. My favorite book is this one. I worked at restaurants since the age of 15 years old. I worked at 3 at one time once. And so this is near and dear to my heart, like your Olive Garden classics that you love are in here. Gosh, so many. My coffee shops, I worked at coffee shops in the morning and then fancy, steak type place at nighttime. So everything like Asian classics, sweet and sour chicken. If you do have this one, do the bourbon chicken. Yes. And if you don't have this and you want to do the bourbon chicken, I did a video for Swerve, and you can find that recipe for free on there. But this is actually my favorite one. Gosh, there's another one out there. Keto. That one's educational. There's some no-cook meal plans in there, but it explains how to do it if you don't understand. Oh, sure. Thank you. And this one is loved, as you can see. But I will say that I used to be the only crazy person out there talking about this 15 years ago, and that was a blessing and a curse. I would say that the information out there, you have to be very careful. I'm not saying that I'm the only right person out there, but if you see you need to eat 70% fat to be in ketosis, they're wrong, go away. There's just a lot of misinformation out there. With the popularity of keto comes bad information. You do not need expensive ketones. You don't need anything like that to be in ketosis. Okay, and then I think there's one more. Oh, you guys have the old ones. Look at that. Oh, the cleanse book. The cleanse book. Yes. There's a special Facebook group just based on this of everybody doing the recipes together. So it's kind of like a nice little group. This sounds very difficult, but I don't think it is. I call it a cleanse because I touch on estrogens and cold therapy and how to heal your mitochondria for things other than deodorant, simple, all of these types of things, toothpaste. Yeah, so it's like, really there's a lot of different recipes. In the back, we get into like different, this was delicious.
Breakfast chili is kind of almost something.
Oh, yeah! So, like, it's not too hard.
Like when you started, it was kind of different.
Overwhelming.
But then you started getting used to it.
And if you do have that book and you want another 30 days, Craig made 30 days of meal plans for free. It's on the website, so you can kind of go off of that. Some people really want that structure, and that's cool too. But those are my books. My boys, they know that I take pictures of all you guys because we go and they're just so excited, and I tell stories about you guys and.